Hello guys, how are you? This is Sushant Sohani and welcome to the Sushant method. So today we are going to discuss about the warfare strategies by Chanakya and how they are relevant in today's world and the wars happening across the world. Okay. Um, Before we start, I would like to request again, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, the Sushant method, please do subscribe, like my video, and share with your peers if you like the content. Okay, so let's begin today's presentation. Shant method. So as I said, today's topic is warfare strategies by Chanakya, lesson number 4 in history and geopolitics. So what are those main strategies? Chanakya, an ancient Indian philosopher and strategist, outlined his warfare strategy in the book named Arthashastra. The key aspects include diplomacy and alliances, which is like forming alliances and using diplomacy to achieve goals. Second one is economic warfare, which means weakening enemies economically. Military strategy, employing tactics like ambitious spies, sabotage, as in taking the military kinetic actions. Fourth one is adaptability, adjusting strategies based on circumstances. And the fifth one is spies, intelligence, and espionage, utilizing spies to gather information on enemies. Okay, spies, or you say the agents. So let's see one by one. The first one, diplomacy and alliances. So the example I can give, the first example is the NATO alliance, which is North Atlantic Treaty Organization. This is a political and military alliance of North American and European countries, which was formed just after the Second World War in 1949 as a counterweight to the Soviet Union, earlier days Soviet Union, which is Russia now. And these are the NATO members, and the USA is the like major stakeholder in NATO alliance. So USA runs this, and these are all the partners. And secondary partners could be Germany, France, okay, would say United Kingdom. So these are the countries which they do have their military, they do have their uh, atomic powers, and they do have their weapons, but they work in alliance. Okay, so basic of NATO alliance is the diplomacy and alliance. If any of these countries is attacked by the adversary, like which could be any country, then these countries fight together. They consider that attack is on them. So this is called this alliance. Okay. So what are topics we are discussing today in all warfare strategy? This is the introductory video, and in upcoming videos we'll go in more details about each example. Okay. So keep watching until the end this video and my future videos as well. So let's see the second example. Quad. It's called Quad. You can see this Quad in the world map. The four countries which are part of this Quad alliance is the United States, okay, then India, Australia, and Japan. Okay, so these are the four countries which are part of Quad. You see two US because US and this is Hawaii. Okay, so both are US, so that's why, and the Japan is here. So it forms actually a Quad like structure. That is why it is called Quad. The quadrilateral security dialogue, which is Quad between the US, Japan, India, and Australia, is an example of Chanakya's concept of forming strategic alliances to balance the power. This Quad is basically aiming to promote stability and security in the Indo-Pacific region, which is this Indo-Pacific region as in this region, countering China's growing influence. So basically, it is to the as you saw, the NATO alliance is to counterweight the Soviet Union. It was formed that time, and this Quad is uh, formed to counterweight to the China, who is the growing power or established power, you can say in today's date, in this region, in Indo-Pacific region. Okay, let's see. Yeah, the third example of diplomacy and alliances. The Abraham Accords, signed in 2020, normalize relations between Israel and several Arab countries. This diplomatic breakthrough reflects Chanakya's idea of forming alliances with non-traditional partners to achieve strategic objectives. So, if you know a very basic of the Middle East, uh, what has been happening in Middle East, that uh, the basics of that, that problem in Middle East is the Israel is a Jewish country which is surrounded by all the Shia and Sunni Muslim countries. So they have their basic problems, which is part of a bigger discussion. But Israel, with the help of the United States, the Donald Trump was the president of United States his first term in 2020. So he initiated that, and the the countries in the Middle East like Bahrain or Qatar, they form this alliance with Israel, that they can at least do the trade with the diplomacy, and they are non-traditional allies partners. So this was one of the biggest step. So it's still, as you know, things are happening in Middle East between Israel and Iran, or Israel and Palestine. So we will discuss that in future videos. But this is at least they can do the trade. They are not isolated. Israel not isolated completely. So let's see the second point, second strategy: economic warfare. What it means is weakening the enemies economically. Economic warfare involves using economic measures to achieve political or military objectives. Here are some examples. So we just discussed about China's influence, and they needs to be counterweighted by the other countries. So China's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, is a prime example of economic warfare. So what China does, because they want to be number one, in terms of economy, in terms of military power, everything. So what they do is by providing loans and investment to the developing countries in this region. Okay, there are multiple like Maldives, Sri Lanka, or Bangladesh, or any country in this region. They give them the loan, and China gets strategic influence and control over key infrastructure projects. This tactic is reminiscent of Chanakya's emphasis on using economic means to weaken the adversaries. So China's adversary is India, because they are the direct competitors. So, and this is like all Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Myanmar. These are always been traditionally, like part of, Indian influence. They were part of India once upon a time, but they are, because it's the same civilization. So what China wants to do is to, um, make these partners of India weaker by giving them loans and controlling their infrastructure. For example, Hambantota port in Sri Lanka, or the port in the Baluchistan. That's what they have been trying very hard, to create this influence through this economic warfare. And that project name is China's Belt and Road Initiative, that is passing through the Indian part of Kashmir, but which is currently occupied by the Pakistan, which is called POK. Okay, so this is one of the best example of economic warfare. We will discuss that in future in more details. Other example I can say is the part of the current Ukraine and Russia conflict. Okay, so what happened is when the conflict started in 2022, January or February 2022. So the ongoing conflict, Ukraine has seen Russia use economic coercion to influence neighboring countries by cutting off energy supplies or imposing trade restriction. Russia aims to exert pressure on Ukraine and its allies. So what happened? See, Russia has huge stock of natural gas and the fuel, petrol, diesel, and European countries, because they are very close geographically to Russia, they take gas and natural gas and other parts of fuel from Russia because it's easier to transport, and then it's because it's cheaper rather than taking from other parts of world like they do. But Russia is the major contributor. Then Norway, Algeria, other USA and Qatar, they do buy from other countries as well, but majorly they are dependent on Russia. So after this conflict started, because Russia was seen as an aggressor, United States, they put sanctions on Russia that they won't be able to sell. Okay, sell they don't be able to trade or sell with Europe and even other countries, including Australia. They said that we don't want to trade with Russia. So what Russia did, they put sanctions. They put sanctions on the trade. They said that we are not going to give the gas and the fuel to the Europe, and they severely need it for, because the temperature in the Europe, the Eastern Europe or Western Europe, anywhere you go, especially in the winter, they can't survive without natural gas. Okay, to heat their houses or use the energy across. So what happened? There are some other countries like India who purchase the fuel and energy from Russia, and they sold it to the Europe. So whatever they could, I'm just giving an example, whatever they could get for €1, they are getting it for 2 or 3 euros. So who is at loss? European countries, and they are doing it just for sake of being in the alliance with United States, NATO alliance. Okay, and they're already struggling. Their economies are already struggling, especially Germany and Italy, France, Spain, etc. And because of this conflict, they are going down and down. So these are a couple of examples of economic warfare. Let's see the third one, military strategy or kinetic military actions. So I come from India, although I live in Australia, but I come from India. So I thought this is the one of the recent and one of the best example which I can share with you guys. So what military actions means, like on adversaries to punish them for their acts, sometimes symmetric or sometimes it could be asymmetric. Okay, so I give you the bit background of it. The ongoing conflict between India and Pakistan, especially after the coward and gruesome terrorist attack by Pakistan in Pahalgam, Kashmir, happened on 22nd April, and they killed 26 innocent tourists. And after that gruesome attack, Indian leadership finally decided enough is enough, and we need to punish Pakistan. Teach them the forever lesson. And the operation they carried out was named Operation Sindoor. Okay, so why Sindoor? That is a vermilion the married women put in their forehead here, and it had some significance. So when I create a separate video about Operation Sindoor, I will discuss more on that. So what were the key takeaways? The Operation Sindoor was a combined tri-service precision strike on terror camp based in Pakistan and the Pakistan occupied Kashmir. So tri-service precision means military, air force, and navy, all. Okay. So you see this the press conference held by the uh, from military, air force, and this person is from the Ministry of External Affairs, Secretary of Ministry of External Affairs in India, who was giving the updates of what was this Operation Sindoor. Okay. Um, 9 terror locations associated with JEM, which is just Jaish-e-Mohammed, LET means Lashkar-e-Toiba, and Hizbul Mujahideen were the target of the strikes. The operation was calibrated and non-escalatory. India did not want to escalate it further. They just wanted to take revenge of, and to finish the terror camps in Pakistan who did that terrorist attack. Okay, so was not non-escalatory and avoided all targets associated with Pakistani military and civilians. We did not want to target military directly, nor the civilians. Okay, we are not Pakistanis. They do that. They target civilians. India doesn't do that. It was direct retaliation for the April 22nd Pahalgam terror attack that resulted in the death of 26 civilian tourists, as I said. Indian authorities work closely with the international communities to emphasize Pak support to terror outfits. Pakistan retaliated, as of course, as expected, with military alert, but they could not cause any damage to India, any significant damage. Okay, so this was Operation Sindhu, example of the military strategy and tactic action. This is not always, recommended. This is something when the diplomacy fails, and with the country like Pakistan, they don't want diplomacy, so there is no option. Okay, so continue with that topic, adaptability. It is like adjusting strategies based on circumstances. So this example, which I have given here, illustrates Chanakya's emphasis on adaptability in warfare, where a weaker force can use innovative tactics. Innovative is not actually a good word, but yeah, they think something where you know, they they can't fight in the on the ground, in like traditional war. So they do something from back door. So to counter a stronger opponent. So here the weaker one is Pakistan and the stronger opponent is India. So Pakistan and India have had multiple conflicts, military conflicts, starting from the partition, then 1948, then 1965, and then 1971 and 1999, and now recent one. So after after first three wars, basically after 1971, when India, you know, cut Pakistan into two parts, West Pakistan became Pakistan and East Pakistan became Bangladesh. So they finally realized that after losing terribly with India in consecutive conventional wars initiated by Pakistan, India never initiated. As I said, in 1948, 65, and 71, Pak realized that they can't beat India in traditional wars on the ground in any way, whether it's Air Force, Navy, or the military, okay, army. Hence, they adopted K2 strategy. K2 means Kashmir and Khalistan project to bleed India with thousand cuts from inside, and since then they have been troubling India enormously with multiple terror attacks in Kashmir, northern part of India, and Punjab, which is where they have been running the Khalistan movement, and rest of India, like Mumbai, Bangalore, wherever they have done multiple terror attacks. The 2000 in Mumbai attacks. So I have shown three pictures here. This is after 1971. This is General Zia-ul Haq, and this person is Zulfikar Bhutto. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, who was the Prime Minister of Pakistan that time. So this person had said that we will eat grass, but we will cut India with thousand cuts. We will bleed India with thousand cuts. And his wish got manifested. Pakistan is actually eating grass now. they are losing on water as well from India. So after Operation Sindoor. So that is why you should never manifest something like this. You should never say that. I'm giving you the example of the terror attack. This is, I could not show because it's so devastating to show the real picture. So this is the AI generated cartoon picture of that incident. And as I was saying, Khalistan. So Pakistan wants to cut Punjab and some other areas of from Indian land, and make it a new Sikh country, Khalistan, supported by Pakistan. Okay, so this article I am showing unveiling Pakistan role in Khalistan extremist movement. They will not accept it, but they do. This is another topic which I can explore in more and more details in future videos. Okay, so this is the example of adaptability I wanted to share, where you can't beat your stronger opponent directly. So you do some coward tactics like this, adapt. So Chanakya didn't never meant like do the terrorist attack, but what Pakistan is they actually following Chanakya in that opposite way. Okay, let's see the fifth one: spies, intelligence, and espionage. Another huge topic to discover. I'm just giving you the intro right now. So modern intelligence agencies such as CIA, the Central Intelligence Agency of the United States, MI6, which is of the United Kingdom, which has been active since the UK used to rule the world. Third one is the KGB from the Soviet Union time, still Russia runs it. Mossad from Israel, and research and analytics wing RAW from India. Okay, these are the top five agencies uh, which have been active across the world. Employ tactics similar to those described by Chanakya. They gather information, conduct covert operations, and use disinformation to influence outcomes. Cyber warfare in current world, sometimes it's not required that agent is with you. They can be watching or snooping through your computer or your phone. Cyber warfare has become a key aspect of modern espionage, with states using hacking and other cyber tools to disrupt the adversaries' operations and gather intelligence. Because everything is connected through computers and phones these days, internet, it can disrupt your everything. Okay, like and share and subscribe. So I stop sharing now. Guys, I believe you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and keep watching the upcoming videos on this similar topic. I will keep unfolding, each topic in more and more details. Okay. Thanks for watching. Thank you. Bye.